Welcome to BattleTech in the Morning with Captain Nips. I'm Captain Nips, and in today's BattleTech Backer Beta Stompy Robot Happy Fun Time, I'm going to take a look at something that I mentioned yesterday in my returning to the command console video. I have, over the course of many videos and many games played in BattleTech, tended to trend my selections for setup of my lance in one very particular direction.
Welcome, Commander.
And that is, I tend to pick pilots that have the best skills for what I feel is the situation. So today I'm going to pick some pilots that I actually don't think are very good, and I'll get to why in just a second. In terms of setup, I've picked a lance identical between mine and the opponent. I believe this is the medium recon lance. It's not that important. And I've rearranged the pilots, thusly. I have put the 3 best gunnery pilots on the opposing lance, plus the next guy in line, which arguably is either Paradise or Sumo. There might be one other pilot there, but Paradise is a good fit for what's going on in this lance. Now on my side, normally I would pick this pilot setup, or something very similar to it. Instead, I want to try a game where I pick pilots that I feel are actually not very good. And why do I think that? So here's the thing. All the pilots have the 4 skills: gunnery, piloting, guts, tactics. Gunnery determines your range attack number to hit, so high gunnery is very good in a blanket sense when you're firing guns at the enemy, which you're doing almost all the time. Piloting determines your melee and death from above attack percent to hit, which is not always applicable, but melee happens, so it's useful to have a good piloting skill. And there are some mechs where having a high piloting skill would be very beneficial. Guts gives you more heat scale. So in my mind, Guts as a skill is kind of a nice bonus, but it isn't necessarily a requirement in a pilot. Assuming that the Guts at low values doesn't actually take away heat scale, which, boy, that would be a design decision that I would cringe at. Assuming the Guts is all upside, it's a nicety, but it's not a requirement in my mind. And then Tactics does a lot of things. Tactics determines your line of sight distance, information gained from radar blips, accuracy with indirect fire and called shots. But here's the thing. In most BattleTech matches that I've seen, indirect fire, you can set up for it. You absolutely can craft a lance for it. But at some point, you're going to have to shoot indirect fire, which then you're on gunnery. Called shots don't always come along. You're not always going to get a chance to make a called shot, so tactics isn't useful except in those conditions. Line of sight distance and determining information from radar blips is a useful thing, but usually the difference between the radar blip showing up and then being within line of sight and actually firing on the target is 1 turn. At maybe 2 at most. If you get into a real positional game, maybe it's there. The problem is that in most of the matches of BattleTech Backer Beta that I have played, the trend is that your engagement range is going to go from spawn to spawn, so where you start, to long to medium pretty quickly, and then you're going to be on top of each other moments later. Most fights, I feel like, in this game happen at short to medium range, at which point tactics as a skill is way less important than gunnery and even piloting. And I would hazard that it's actually less important than guts, because extra heat scale keeps you in the firefight longer without having to take a pause to bleed heat. So, for today's match, I am taking 4 pilots that I think are bad because they are all set up with high tactics and low gunnery, almost exclusively across the board. Mockingbird, 8 tactics, 3 gunnery. Arclight, 8 tactics, 3 gunnery. Witness, 8 tactics, 3 gunnery. Showboat is our all-star on the team with only 5 tactics and 4 gunnery with a bottom skill of 8. The other interesting thing that comes out of this is that if you look at the pilot abilities, the special abilities, the pilots with high tactics, sensor lock, sensor lock, sensor lock, sensor lock. You've got a little bit of evasion. You have whatever you call this, master tactician. And strangely enough, Mockingbird has bulwark, which doesn't make a ton of sense, especially compared to her preferred mechs. I don't think, with maybe the exception of Showboat, who I have a soft spot for, even though HBS kneecapped her in the Beta Phase 2 update, I don't think any of these pilots are good, and I think none of them are worth your consideration, generally speaking, in a Lance, unless you're specifically building a Lance to use their specific skill set. Whereas over here, Wildfire, high gunnery, Kraken high gunnery, Apex high gunnery, look at what they get. Multi-target, multi-target, multi-target. You get 1 sensor lock out of Kraken, you get Bulwark out of Wildfire, you get Breaching Shot out of Apex. It feels to me like these skills reinforce the fact that they are already crack shots. Basically piling advantage on top of advantage. Paradise being the lone guy that's not quite as good a shot as the rest is also an outlier because he's high piloting, decent gunnery, evasion. Oh, by the way, the only pilot with Angel of Death. Why they took it away from Showboat, I will never understand. Anyway, so I'm going to try and make this fight work. And I don't actually have a lot of faith that it's going to go my way, because the enemy team has such a strong advantage in terms of percentage chance to hit with weapons. I'm going to have to be a little tricky. I'm going to have to pull some things out of the bag to even keep pace, I feel like. With my gunneries of 3 versus their gunneries of 8, if I'm doing my math right, I'm giving up a 25% chance to hit deficit to their team. They are 1/4 more likely to hit on every single attack they make than I do, right out of the gate.
Command interface initiated.
Without even speaking to battlefield conditions. 25% doesn't sound like a lot, and I'd actually hazard it's probably higher than that. So let's just take a quick look at what we got on our team. We've got the Commando SRM variant.
What do you need?
We've got the Kentaro with the short range loadout with a single LRM.
I hear ya.
We've got Witness in the Griffin I prefer, PPC and LRM 10.
Waiting for
And
orders.
Showboat with the Shadowhawk with the kind of mix of things. So, if I'm going to get out of this fight, even breaking even, let's say, I think what I'm going to have to do, there's a couple of things. One, I cannot count on evasive movement to save me because all of their, well, 3/4 of the enemy pilots are crack shots. They're going to
Standing by.
shoot right through this evasive movement bonus that I get, which is pretty anemic at this point. The Beta Phase 2 update, generating an extra evasive charge for movement actions is nice, but it's only a 5% chance to hit difference versus a pilot that doesn't have this. So I can't count on that.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to have to count on
I'm there.
some early damage using sensor locks and the smattering of long-range guns that I have at my disposal. I've got an LRM-5, an LRM-5, an LRM-10. If I want to present my face to a target, I've got an autocannon 5 and a PPC. If you put that pile of weapons on a single mech, that would look amazing in terms of a long-range build. But the fact that it's spread out over our entire lance is a little disconcerting. So I think what I need to do...
Waiting for orders.
The unfortunate thing is I think
can I do for you?
Witness and maybe even Showboat need to be up in line of sight in a place where they can hunker down and get the direct line for their PPC and autocannon.
Standing by.
So I'm going to position them up the hill. Really want to get her in front. It's going to take another turn. That's fine. I think I'm going to fight from this ridge.
Commander.
Now, Arclight's Kentaro. Let me just move Mockingbird over here a bit. And we'll move her up behind.
Rolling.
Arclight's Kentaro is not well built for anything but short range. I don't want to put her on the ridge necessarily. I just want her to be able to fling her missiles. So I want to pick a spot that's actually down behind cover. I'm going to pick here for now. Let's just take a quick peek at the outer extent of LRM range, if we can find it. Let's do this. Turn off all the weapons. Let's find our LRMs. Okay, so here's our optimal, which goes down to about the river, and then it looks like long range up onto the hill here. So this isn't a bad spot. I do want to move one tick closer just to get that optimal range fully onto the river.
Understood.
Like I said earlier, I feel like I'm going to have to fight tricky. I'm going to have to fight dirty if I expect to win this fight against these enemy pilots. And every time that they take a shot at me, I expect I'm going to get hit and probably lose components very quickly.
Commander.
So let's start with Mockingbird. Now, Mockingbird doesn't need to be in line of sight to grant us a sensor lock, but she needs to be close enough. This is close enough. Actually, you know what? I could probably get it from where she's standing. I don't want to stand still necessarily. I also want to get off this ridge. You know what? I'm just going to have her plant her feet. Let's grab a sensor lock, throw it there. Oh, look, it's the commando. Oh, okay, that was weird. Took a second for the commando to actually show up. Alright, so it has moved, it has evaded, it has guarded, it has entrenched.
Yeah.
Arclight's got the first go, so let's let the missile spam commence. At a 45% chance to hit. If you ignore the movement modifiers, and that's an extra 15, so she'd actually be at 60 to hit without this movement modifier. We're just going to have to throw some missiles and chip away at it. Actually, that was a really good shot, landing pretty much all the missiles. I think she only missed with one.
Found another bad guy.
Alright, so now Witness, up here, has an indirect line of fire from there, but we want to get his PPC involved, if we can. That's obstructed, 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 obstructed. Lots of obstructions. I will take an obstructed shot over not getting a chance to fire this PPC, and I want to keep back. Oof. Oh, hello. That's a friend. Let's get this party moving on. Solid shot, hits the center of torso on the commando. I'm getting some good lucky hits early, which definitely do not hurt. If I can clean out their commando early, that's going to give me a fraction of a leg up,
Waiting on you,
because
Commander.
that's Paradise, and Paradise can be a problem. 60%. Thank you, Showboat, for having almost good gunnery. I'm actually kind of wishing I'd put her into one of the other mediums, but what are you gonna do? Actually, put her in the Kintaro. What am I saying? Never mind. All right, so back to the top of the order.
Waiting for
Mockingbird is where we want to be. This time, I don't need to be so close, so let's not give them an opportunity to poke. We're going to back down behind this hill. Easy peasy. And sensor lock here. And then he's going to get to move, which is going to change his movement modifiers. That ordering stinks. I think I need to do... I guess I need to move Arclight. Except Arclight? This is a problem of ordering, which is really unfortunate.
Copy that.
But we continue to work the commando.
Waiting on you, Commander.
Alright, I'm guessing there are no direct fire lines. Oh, there are. Unfortunately, that puts me in line of sight of those guys, and that's absolutely not something we want. I need to milk this...
Moving out.
Need to milk this long-range indirect fire advantage as long as I can. God, 50%. So let's see. We're getting +6, which is cutting, I think, about 30% off the shot. Target moved and target size is killing me here. It's fine.
Time to die.
Just keep flinging these missiles. We're getting hits, which is actually surprising, truth be told. Meanwhile, the rest of it's the enemy lance is kind of putzing around. So what's modifier here? So target move, target size, indirect fire for a +5. There we go. That's the kind of weapon fire I was expecting to see. Total lack of contact. It's a good shot. Some good shooting. Showboat.
Standing by.
So
What do you need?
if I use Arclight first, you drop your sensor lock at the end of turn, which means the commando is now unlocked. I need her to fire missiles, which means I need to move Mockingbird first so that I can get my sensor lock back on. But then commando is just going to move and generate movement pips again. Like so. Which is unfortunate. Ooh, boy, and he's cooking this time. Throwing caution to the wind, no cover this time.
Yep.
Arclight, do you have a firing solution? You do. Let's make that happen then. Start chipping away at that movement modifier. Caught one. Get the feeling that I'm probably a turn or two away from having to back away from this ridge just to maintain the
What can I do for you?
safety of not getting shot so soon. Let's see. We like that. Line that up. Out of curiosity, is there a line of sight to... Oh, no, of course not. There's a big honkin' rock in front of that commando. So let's continue to keep our heads down, shall we? Now, it is interesting that they have Kraken on their team. Whoa, wow. That is atrocious. How about this? How about this? Let's not make this mistake twice. Oh, I moved. I already made the mistake. Should have gone with Showboat first. Oh well.
You betcha.
It's interesting that they have... Kraken is not using, from the enemy team, his sensor lock
Systems recycling for another
because
shot.
they have the same guns I do. They could be raining LRMs on me right now, but choosing not to.
I hear ya.
Alright.
Uh-huh.
Next turn, remember, Showboat before Witness. because Witness has bigger guns. We need to chip away that modifier before he shoots.
Standing by.
You know what? It just occurred to me. I could reserve. Let the commando go first. Let it get its full movement modifier in. Then, Mockingbird, who does not actually want to stick around for this garbage. What do we got here? Geothermal terrain. Just go down into the crease here and face upward.
I'm there.
Now sensor lock, which should drop a few pips off. Great. There you go. Order of operations, very important in this game. Don't be afraid to reserve if necessary. Now,
Yeah.
everybody is on the end of this party. Let's back up a smidgen. Are you still in optimal? Yes, for whatever optimal means.
I'm taking the shot.
The enemy lance is very confused. Let's keep that confusion up, shall we?
No sweat.
Literally.
I may need some more time in the simulator.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Oop. One more enemy bad guy. As their mediums are dancing around over there. Sure.
Waiting on you, Commander.
I might actually be able to get a safe location for direct fire here. I'm far enough. I think I'm far enough away. I might be far enough away. This might actually be a bad idea. Let's take a look. Might be a bad idea, but you know what?
Got it.
Need to put shots on target. And this gets the PPC back involved for all of its coin flip likeliness to hit.
Commencing Alpha Strike.
But it worked the first time. There you go. -1 medium laser. Chipping away at this commando. And here comes the pain.
I'm taking internal damage.
I think now that this commando is pushed several miles ahead of its friends, it's time to kind of just
Reading you.
fall down on it and drop the hammer. Let's see. What's
What do you
Arclight got
need?
going? Oh yeah, she's in the Kintaro. So, kind of want to stay on this commando's left side so that we can chip through
Location
that
confirmed.
broken arm location. Some fantastic two-hit numbers there. Oh boy. Spray and pray, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we got.
Yeah.
Alright. Arclight, can you get to a firing solution? Yes. Can you get to a firing solution that's in the right arc? You can! Brilliant. Alright, weapons are going to have to get rearranged, though. Let's check this out. What do we got? Overheat warning. My LRM is actually the most likely to hit. So let's drop one of the SRM-6s off. I don't want to cause any unnecessary damage this early because I'm going to need every health point my mechs have. There we go. Look at that. We're going to actually get to use our tactics skill for something other than indirect fire. Bad guys. Trucking along.
I hear ya.
Let's get Witness off of this rock that he's on. Or... Yeah, those LRM numbers suck regardless, so... Let's get him off the rock.
No need to tell me twice.
And since we're here, let's see if we can sweep the leg. Ooh, PPC landed. That's nice. That's some good sauce. All right, bad guys.
What can I do for you?
Good guys. Now. Whoa! Check out those percentages.
Commander, moving out.
Haven't seen anything like that since a game I actually took pilots that knew how to shoot guns. Alright. We are going to drop the... Alright, so first of all, we're going to target the guy. 21% to hit the right leg. Right leg has 16 structure left. 24%. I need to do 16 damage before I just obliterate the rest of the mech. 25%. Oh, this is so many numbers to try and figure out. I think you don't fire all of these things. I think you throw... How much has it got in the center torso? It's got 43 in the center torso. Some of that might get transferred in from the other parts, though. This is kind of trying for a chip shot here. Let's see if we get it. I doubt it. Without blowing up the rest of the mech. Oh, hey, look at that!
Bang! You're dead.
Scored us some salvage. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been 7 rounds, and we have successfully killed a commando while taking a little damage.
I'm here.
A little damage. Speaking of a little damage, let's do some damage to this initiative track.
Reserving action.
Get back on the fling our missiles with reckless abandon plan. Because that's what you're going to have to do with pilots like these. You're going to have to, if you expect to win against a Lance that's got better gunnery, let's be clear. This commando moved up. Granted, I had not really positioned Mockingbird in a defensive manner. But one salvo from the enemy commando, I'm now half missing an arm, and I've got some dents in my armor in other places. That was one salvo from a light mech. We need to try and avoid further damage from things that are bigger. Alright, let's start chipping down on this guy since he's going to be the closest to actually being in engagement range. Park behind the rocks.
Move order received.
Face on up. Console jockey. Tell us what is hiding over here, if you do not mind. Oh no! It's important to check your bubbles. My bubble is not right. That's not good. Alright, this time
Yep.
I'm going to have Arclight move over, and this time I'm going to actually check my bubble. From the bird's eye view, plenty of space. There we go. Arclight's going to have to fill in on sensor duty. Let's see what we get. Please be the Kintaro. Yes! Alright. I feel like of the 3 remaining mechs, the Kintaro's easily the most dangerous.
Sensor trace.
Especially if it gets up in my
Waiting
face.
on you, Commander.
So, are there any spots where I can get direct line of fire? Nope. So, we're going to hunker down. Line up a shot. Oh, and I did this again. Well, he doesn't have any movement modifiers. That's fine. Send the rain. 75% chance to hit. Look at that.
Waiting for orders.
Get Showboat in on this action.
Moving out.
back to the top of the order.
Affirmative.
Look at all that collateral damage. Jerk. Alright.
I'm here.
Mockingbird. This time you're definitely going to have sensor range to this guy. So let's just do that. Ooh. That's some movement modifier. Okay, let's
Yeah.
take Showboat. Who actually could start to... Yeah, no, I've got direct line of fire from here. Do we drop the hammer on this guy? Let's just check our numbers quick. We're outside of short range. Still. 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 So right here on this corner is where we would need to be. I think I want to keep... Well... It doesn't actually change the percentage of the long-range guns to move up a little bit. The problem, of course, is that as soon as I move up, that means this guy's going to get his next turn to move up and SRM me to death. So I'm not a huge fan of getting SRM to death. Let's just move back a smidge and poke from over here.
No sweat.
Also curious where the... yeah, okay, so he's there back over here. Alright. Rat-a-tat-tat. Ooh, lands a shot into the arm. A couple of missiles hit. It's not bad. Meanwhile, enemy team very interested in holding that hill for some inexplicable reason. This seems like a decent spot.
You betcha.
And of course I messed this up again. I should have had Arclight fire first. Ah, boy.
This should be good.
Ooh, that's a painful miss. But we got there with the missiles, so got that going for us.
What do you need?
Let's just back up a little bit. Just a little bit.
Confirmed. Attacking from position.
Alright. Throw the reserve on here again because I have a sneaking suspicion this guy is going to come screaming up the way as fast as he can. Well, not as fast as he could have,
Yes, Commander.
but fast enough. Let's remove those movement modifiers.
Yep.
Alright, so no movement modifiers to deal with, so we can just position at my leisure, fire with whomever I need to first. Let's do that.
On it.
Give it one more turn, maybe two. Continue to direct fire, indirect fire as much as I can. Because despite all the rain I have dropped on this Kintaro, I have not made a significant dent in its armor.
What can I do for you?
That's a very long shot. Ooh, look at those percentages.
On my way.
Crackshot witness over here. Gonna get some work done.
Firing.
These PPC,
Everything
this
I've
PPC and
got.
this LRM. Nice. Center torso for half damage because it's covered. Entrenched.
I hear ya.
Showboat. Can you do something similar for me? You have an indirect line. Which is interesting. Wonder why that was.
You betcha. Got it.
Whiff with the autocannon. Got all the missiles. I would happily trade that situation, but take what you can get. See, this pilot's got the right idea. I don't know what its two friends are thinking exactly, but standing way back here and putzing around while I kill one of their lance mates seems like a really bad policy.
Reading you.
Ooh, hey, I've got focus somehow. I'm sure that will come into play shortly. Let's move you out of the way for the time being. Did it cover? Yep, it covered. Of course it did. But here's the thing. I have focus. So
Yeah?
I think Arclight might actually have an opportunity here to get some serious work in. So let's move her here.
Moving to position.
Honestly, the 2-hit numbers are not the worst. 70s, 60s, LRM, whatever. Ignore the LRM.
Let's hit 'em hard.
But if we can make this a full go alpha minus the LRM, all of which is ignoring the cover, look, ooh. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why focus is dumb.
Firing.
Let's just open the whole left side of this Kentaro. Some good work. Oh, look at that. Enemy has a line of sight, so of course now they start the rain. Alright, so
I hear ya.
let's try and finish the job here.
Moving to position.
Or at least put some more hurt in on this guy. Overheat warning. Really? Alright, well, let's drop the PPC for now, because I'm looking for some crit seeking on that left torso. Sneak a missile or two in. Not so much.
Waiting on you, Commander.
Yeah, buddy. Time to open up a can. Showboat finally gets to use all her guns.
Firing everything I've got.
Shot to the arm. Torso, leg. No lucky crits, but getting some good damage in this time. Now that we're here,
I'm here.
honestly, I think I need to take the initiative advantage here and pour some more damage into this guy. Overheat warning. Can we get away with just the medium lasers? Nope. Caution to the wind. We can get some kill shot level damage here. It's got one structure left on its left torso.
Past the armor.
And a knockdown. Perfect. Okay. I think that was worth the trade for some internal damage. Out of curiosity, I'm gonna poke at her. Poke at her paper doll and see where the internal structure damage. 3 points in the leg, 3 points in the arm. That's it. I took 6 points of overheat damage, and it was in an arm and a leg. That is a wonderful, perfectly acceptable trade.
Yes, Commander.
Mockingbird, can you get in on this action? Because we are going to kill this guy while he's down.
Order acknowledged.
Oh boy, I think we just need to go for centers of mass. That left side is already crit out. Alright, center of mass. Light him up. Ooh. Like a pro. Hitting all those body shots with those missiles and the laser.
Waiting on you, Commander.
This should be a kill shot. What do we got left? 46. It's a good chance to be a kill shot.
All weapons are go.
Boom. like to see.
Did you see that?
No salvage there, but you know what? That keeps a massive SRM spam off of my team, and I am perfectly content with that fact. So, let's just get into new positions here.
Good to go.
And continue with the standing off and spamming missiles
Don't need
at
to tell me
targets
twice.
plan. 'Cause so far it's working alright. Not even going to bother with a sensor lock because we're at the top of the order.
Reading you.
Mockingbird, if you would be so kind as to find a spot to put your sensors on them. Is that good enough? Yes.
Location confirmed.
Left or right? Right hand rule says Griffin. Alright. I can deal with that.
What do you need?
Oh, hello. That's a direct line of fire, which is curious. Wow. Really? All right. Let's just let those heat sinks do some work. I can oh, that's not good. What could he All right. So AI's being a little bit fidgety today.
What can I do for you?
Just a smidgen fidgety.
Got it.
And since that guy ran completely out of my sensor range, change plans. Witness. If you'd be so kind as to point your guns in that direction. Let's move just a smidgen closer. There we go. Get that guy into optimal range for the PPC. Probably not going to get to fire it either. Of course. I think I would prefer the armor hole punching at this point, so let's fire the PPC. And whiff. If it weren't for the fact that I'm up 2 kills to none, I would be really disappointed in this lance so far.
Yes.
But the
Commander.
fact that I'm like better than holding my own with some pilots that probably normally couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
Order acknowledged.
Guess I'll take it. I'm actually not a huge fan of this kind of standoff and fight tactic, especially with a lance that's not real well set up for it. Like 2 LRM5s and LRM10 is not the most
Yep.
indirect fire that you could be bringing to the party. You could certainly be bringing a whole bunch more with some other variants of mechs. Say catapults. Catapults are great for that. Variant of the Jaeger mech. Awesome variant with the LRMs. Do.
Waiting on you, Commander.
This guy is just standing there. So we'll continue to light him up. Bulwark / entrench / cover is only so good if you actually get into the range to fire your weapons back. And if the AI insists on just being a putz, I will insist on setting this guy ablaze with my guns.
Tell me what to shoot.
Open up the left arm. I think that's got some medium lasers in it.
Reading you.
Let's throw the reserve on this, make them move.
Roger that. Standing by.
But, oh, okay, that was a jump. That was weird. Looked like he was rocketing off into space there for a second.
I'm here.
If he moved, what's the chances that he covered? Put those chances at 100%. So we're going to keep throwing it on this guy. Yep. That's unfortunate.
Yeah?
Oh. Yeah. Error. Took away my indirect fire. Let's fix that. Also, what the heck? How? Okay, good. That is indirect fire standing back here. Ugh, that's not great. One of those few opportunities where I would really like to scroll the camera back even further. 40%. I guess we'll move up maybe? Can we get it in optimal? 45. I think I'll take the 45.
Roger.
Gets me into the trees, gets me a little cover in case whatever this is, which would be the Griffin, decides to move forward and actually get a shot off.
Understood. I hear ya.
Daka, daka, daka.
Special delivery!
That guy's right leg is looking a little rough. Might be able to take advantage of that later.
Waiting on you, Commander.
You know, for being indirect fire, these direct fire shots are working out pretty good for me. Still don't want to overheat though.
Roger that. Firing on target.
And focus is up again. So
Yes, Commander.
what do we do with it? I think we don't do anything with it right this very second. Mostly because I can't leverage it very well. Let's get this. We'll get. Oh, I want to be right here. That guy's still just inside.
What do you need?
Again with this direct fire BS. Let's take a look at this. Long range target size. I'm actually curious. So 65% with a direct line shot. Where can I go to get indirect fire? Anywhere? Anywhere? Okay, here. But then that puts it back out of range. Is there a place that I can get close and get indirect? Because it really... I don't know if the game is necessarily smart enough sometimes to know when... There we go. When to pick... I mean, I'm assuming the game is smart enough to know when to choose its tactics skill over its gunnery skill when it calculates these numbers. I'm pretty confident this is now using the tactics skill. It would be nice if... I mean, you can see it's an indirect line, and the number is now fantastic. It would be nice if the game indicated in the percentage pop-up whether you were firing... I mean, it says indirect fire right there, but, like, tell me what the base target number that you're working from is. Is it the tactics or the gunnery? You can infer it fairly easily, but I like things to be very clear and very straightforwardly pointed out. I need everything just pointed out to me, please, because I'm incapable of figuring things out on my own. Hey, look at jump.
What can I do for you?
Again with the heat problems. Ooh, legs are looking real toasty. This guy gonna back out of center range? Nope.
What can I do for you?
I think I'm gonna cool it with the AC5 for a sec to the refire penalty clear. I'm starting to run low on ammo. Low-ish. Oh, we tear this guy a new one.
Reading you.
If I didn't know that this was a Griffin down here, I would actually be worried that whatever this is going to roll up on my position and murder me. But since I know it's only got a PPC and an LRM-10, I'm actually not all that scared. If it wants to roll up into short range, by all means, come on over. I got things for that. I have tools to deal with that situation. Let's get the sensor lock on.
Yeah? Heading out. Acknowledged.
He's got line of sight to that guy.
I hear ya. What can I do for you?
Both of my remaining mechs. So,
Good to go.
do me a favor, Showboat, and don't be there anymore. And actually, since I'm just going to fire the LRMs, let's move back a bit.
On my way. Tell me what to shoot.
Just keep raining on this Shadowhawk because this guy is in a bad way already. As we're hitting critical parts. Once this Griffin rolls up on my position, like for real, and is on top of me, then I'll turn my attention on it and just
Waiting on you, Commander.
drop the hammer on it. Because right now I am content to just... content to just kind of pick my shots up here. This might be exposing witness just a hair to the Griffin down here, but that's fine. I think that's fine. At the point in the match that we're at where... Ooh, baby!
There's more where that came from.
Where we are blowing off enemy mech chunks.
I'm here.
I'm feeling pretty confident that I don't really need to be super careful at this point. What's this guy got left? Oh, give me that paper doll. Come, give me that paper doll. Nice. Took out the autocannon. Took out the medium laser in the left arm. Still got some short range junk with an LRM-5 to back it up. But
What do you need?
I'm in a pretty good position right now. No, we want to be firing indirectly, game. Thank you.
Got it.
It's such a weird thing.
Understood.
They are better shots when they're looking at their computer screens than they are when they're looking out their cockpit glass. That is a very strange concept.
What
But
can I do for you?
that's where we're at. And so let's just keep on keeping on.
I hear ya.
Keep throwing the punch weapon at him.
Uh-huh.
Good shot. We like that. Top of the order. Throw some reserve on this. Really? Oh boy. So, I'm willing to attribute today's victory, because it seems pretty likely at this point,
Yes, Commander.
not to any sort of tactical brilliance on my part, but on the absolute stupidity of the AI today. It just does not, it seems like it does not know how to deal well with a team that is not willing to engage. And
Yep.
boy, is that a thing. That is certainly a thing.
Confirmed.
Like, rule number one, if the enemy is staying out of line of sight, not moving forward to engage, you need to push their position, unless your counter battery fire is going to be more damaging.
Waiting on you, Commander.
And so far, their counter battery damage has amounted to a single LRM 5 salvo and whatever that commando got off the one turn it shot.
I hear you.
Since we still keep getting this sweet, sweet 80% shot with the PPC, I'm going to keep taking it, honestly.
No sweat.
Because if we can keep punching armor panels off, I might switch to the LRMs next.
I'm here.
Start, like, it's do you try and get salvage out of this guy, or do you just obliterate him? I mean,
What do you need?
I think you always want to try and get salvage, right? Salvage is good. Salvage is great. Salvage means money in your own pocketbook for the campaign. Meanwhile, that Griffin is just...
Waiting on you, Commander.
I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about that Griffin at this point.
Affirmative.
Are you gonna try and move to a position that isn't getting you blasted?
What can I do for you?
The answer continues to be no. Hey, look at that. You moved out of my PPC range. It's funny I got all these missiles to fire at you.
Affirmative.
Reading you.
This match is gonna go to round 30, which is ridiculous.
I'm here.
There is no reason for this to have gone so long. Ooh, hold up. This guy positioned just a smidgen further away than is good for my guns and my sensors.
Order received.
Let's fix that. Hey, you. Over there. Get wrecked. Alright, so. Carry on. Is he going to move even further away? Oh, he's finally decided to maybe move down
Yep.
into a place where he's not just going to get hammered all the time and could maybe shoot back. But you know what?
Firing.
Hopes and dreams, my friends. Ooh, that was not a great salvo.
I hear you.
You betcha.
The other thing about a match like this is that it's I don't feel like it's very fun. Like, tactically sound, yes,
What can I do for
absolutely. Interesting to play. I mean, if you're into edging every ounce of corner percentage in your favor out and playing it safe, totally. But I want to apologize ahead of the end of this match because I feel like this is boring as hell to watch. It's almost boring to sit here and push the buttons, and that is a crime. BattleTech, I've always felt like BattleTech is at its best, at its most fun when you're getting into slugging matches. I mean, this is about, we're talking robot on robot, fists hitting faces, medium range salvos, blowing off body parts. This standing back stuff is great and effective. It can be very useful, but it is tragically boring.
What can I do for you?
But if you're starting down a leg, there's no reason to give up your other leg right away. Although it's probably arguable that we are, ooh boy, past the point where I should be worried about losing the second leg, i.e. first leg loss was being down pilot and gunnery skill. Let's just get this kill shot here. Is it going to be a kill shot? That may very well be a kill shot. Let's turn on some guns. Got plenty of heat at this point. Oh wow, I can't even get... Can I get close enough? Right at the hairy edge. And I think this is a beautiful opportunity
I'll do what I can.
to finally turn on that focus fire. Clean up those percentages to hit because they were bad. Ignore this guy's cover. And he is very screwed.
Roger.
Not getting any salvage out of that guy. But you know what? That's fine. Let's advance the clock to the end game if we do.
Waiting on you, Commander.
If you do not hurt. Let's see. Here we go. Let's line this guy up. I wonder how much further back I can get. Still get a line. That seems to be as far back as I can be.
Coordinates received.
Ooh, boy. That's some percentage. Witness has been remarkably good. A remarkably good shot this game with his direct fire PPCs. And his percentages have not been great, but he's been landing all his hits, which is surprising. Oh, here we go. Here comes the hurt. Or not. Oh boy. Okay.
Reading you.
Let's get Mockingbird into this at least a smidgen. And figure out whether I need to actually throw a sensor lock on him or if I can just shoot at this guy. He's got cover. My numbers suck. Let's start stacking damage. Let's get this over with. Amazing. She managed to miss with every single piece of damage and ammunition she threw at that guy.
What do you need?
That is a hell of a thing that she just pulled off there.
On it.
We're gonna give Arclight's mech a chance to cool off. We'll just fling some missiles to chip the last of this
Attacking from position.
movement modifier off. That's how you do it. Drop those LRMs from orbit.
What can I do for you?
Now is the interesting position that we're in, because I don't know if he's got enough heat scale to be firing both guns. Ah, sure enough. That one turn of LRM salvo instead of PPC cooled him off.
Be good.
Shot to the arm. Wrong arm, but that's fine. I guess.
I hear ya.
Time to get the short range stuff involved. Let's turn this on. Do we need to be one step closer? Yes, the answer is yes. We want to be one step closer.
Affirmative.
And we'll turn the LRM off for heat purposes. Or, you know what? Shadowhawks are really good for heat management, so we'll just throw some
All weapons on.
garbage missiles in its direction. If one or two of them hit, then great. And now I think is the time where we stack up on this guy. I would really like to get his right side, but his left side is hurt more. This is the point of the match where if it were actually a campaign game, I'd continue to play carefully to minimize the damage to my team.
Copy that.
Because salvage, because of repair costs. But I think in the interest of, since those things don't exist currently, actually finishing this match before round 30.
Yeah.
Let's just get it done. Oh boy, this is going to be ugly. Point and click. Take the overheat damage. Worked out the last time. Whew, boy. Ladies and gentlemen, Kentaros are mean as F.
I hear ya. Waiting on you, Commander.
P80.
Right, Commander.
We're going to get a called shot with this as well. Just put it in the center of mass.
Firing everything I've got.
Oh, PPC to the crotch. That's rough.
Waiting for orders.
That is rough. You know what else is rough? Getting hammered by the rest of these guns. Right to the jimmies. Yup. There you go. Round 24. Look at that. 6 rounds ahead of my
Did you see that? Did you see it?
terror-inducing projection of this game going crazy long. Ladies and gentlemen, bad pilots. You can leverage them. It turns out, if you leverage them properly, cultivate them, use them for their skills that they're set up for, and then have an opponent that completely donks out and does not know how to actually engage, which no human opponent will ever make that mistake, I think. And Lord only hopes that the AI in the campaign game gets a little bit smarter. You can end up with a result like this. A fairly safe play. Again, you know, standing back, using a high tactics pilots with sensor lock and indirect fire is totally a thing that can work. It is safe-ish, but I really honestly feel like there are better options, especially against an opponent that would actually bother to engage you, which this team did not. But there you are anyway. We got a commando. Legged it. Ruined the crap out of this Shadowhawk. And maybe we stripped some guns off these other guys. But we come out pretty clean. Took a commando salvo there and some LRM fire somewhere around here. But otherwise, just spent a bunch of ammo and killed some dudes. 24 rounds, 57 minutes, 47 seconds in this questionable demonstration of pilot prowess. I'm not convinced. I still think that on par, on average, you're going to want pilots with higher gunnery, and tactics is less useful. Certainly doesn't hurt to have at least 1 or 2 pilots with some decent tactics on your team. Sensors are good. Sensor lock is great. But there you go. So that'll be all for today's BattleTech in the morning. I am, as always, Captain Nips, your commander, at the console, high in the sky, in orbit, because I wouldn't want to be anywhere near this garbage today on this battlefield. So much fun. So with that, I hope all of you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Wonderful day, and I will see all of you tomorrow in the next video.